And
Welcome back, everybody. My name's Jack. I'm very excited to be here for Talk Openly with my wonderful friend Daniel. Daniel, it's kind of you. It's really nice. It's like I need a friend.
I am so happy that we're friends, Jack.
Yeah, me
I
too.
love being with you. It is it's like a little respite, even if everything else is chaotic all around and things are busy, it's nice. I know I can depend on Tuesday evenings getting to see you. And I always feel like so uplifted after our conversations, no matter what we're talking about, even if we're talking about things that aren't entirely like don't necessarily feel that positive. I feel like our conversations always yield some insight and are always a mood booster. Like you're better than any
Yeah.
antidepressant or anti-anxiety there.
I feel similarly. Yeah, it's fantastic. And it's also nice to know that I don't know, like I also feel our audience too.
Yeah.
I feel connected to you all listening. So thank you for being here. And tonight we're going to be talking about the Kleshas,
What the
which
heck is a Klesha?
what the heck is a Klesha? So we're going to get into it.
Okay, all
Um,
right.
afflictive states of mind, right?
Okay,
Is
all
that
right.
right?
Yeah,
Would
I
you
think
say?
yeah, that's a good way to put
Yeah,
it.
it's a good way to put it. Yeah, so we're going to be talking about those and how they can really muck up the mind. Um, and honestly, it's like for me, I feel like I'm in one of those states, like basically all the time. Like
Ah,
right? Like I don't
huh.
have a clear view of emptiness in any way. And so I'm pretty much always in a state of attachment mind, like wanting, really craving certainty and pleasure and comfort. So, uh, yeah, we're going to get into it tonight, all
We
the
are gonna
different
get into it.
places.
Yeah, yeah, we'll talk about our personal Kleshas.
Yeah,
I'm sure we'll get into it.
yes, absolutely. Well, what's going on with you? What's this week been like?
It's been a good week. We on Saturday, Lama led a half day meditation workshop. And
Mm,
I was really fortunate to be able to go to that. It was really quite wonderful to get um just excellent meditation instruction. And he answered some questions that had been at the forefront of my mind, particularly related to visualization and shamatha, and it was really nice. He guided us through sort of, I think primarily he was it seemed to me like he was guiding us through his own practice, right?
yeah.
Like how that looks and, everything, all the sort of like how to prep, and get into it and like what the different sort of stages of your practice might look like and how you like, yeah, you kind of start with, maybe like with, when you actually start your shamatha practice, how you initially have that reverie stay, and then
Hmm.
you have sort of like a little positive, like maybe some visual, not maybe, definitely some visualization going on there, very positive, and then at the end we get to examine the true nature of things.
Mm,
It was really
very
cool.
cool.
Super helpful. And I've been, working with that just since then and really enjoying it. I find it incredibly fruitful. And then
Mm,
on Monday morning, I went into early to do a little practice at the temple when it's all quiet there. And it was funny because I was, I don't know, in the last like year or so, like I've gained a decent amount of weight and like I'm like, man, I can't get it off. And and I was thinking about this while I was driving in. And then I was like, well, it'd be nice if there was some way to really, like to do this properly with like bring it to the Dharma and like to work with it. And then I was like, well, but no, I'm being selfish. And I'm, like it's just like, pride, vanity. I'm not actually thinking
mm,
about the well-being of all, whatever. So I was having this discursive thought as I went.
yeah.
And then after I was done meditating, I got up and I went, there was a little table. There's a little table in there that has like some practice objects and some little things, knickknacks and things in there for people to work with. And I was like, well, I'll just check it out. And I was looking through it and I was like, I didn't like nothing kind of like resonated, I was just like, yeah, it's nice. But I, and then, and then this little, let's see if I can zoom it. There we
Oh,
go.
oh,
Oh, I
yes.
can't get the
It
zoom
very
right.
just flashing in, yes, and out.
There we
Yes, there
go.
he is. Yes, Mama Sopa.
Yeah, it's a little tiny booklet, like a little pocket book. Lama Zopa Rinpoche's The Yoga of Offering Food.
Oh,
And it I haven't made it all the way to the end, but it's really, really like I was like, that is so perfect. Like
yeah,
just ideal, you know? And so I've been practicing with that as well, trying to be more mindful around the food and trying to follow his advice about the yoga of offering food. And that's been kind of fun, a little bit challenging because food is such a habitual pattern for me. Like the
for
way that I
sure.
approach it is relatively like everything else with the klesha of ignorance, you know,
Yeah,
where I'm just like in some kind of a habit mode or whatever. So I don't like it's actually really hard to remember, be like, oh, right. I want to do this yoga of offering food, right? And the
yeah,
other kind of cool thing about it is that what I do notice too, and this is kind of fun, is that when I'm trying to eat when I want it, like I have like a craving for it's like, oh, I want to eat something, and it's not, and it's just that I uh habit eating or whatever. It's not like
yeah.
meal for nourishment or anything. What's funny is I noticed that I'm like, oh, well, I don't really want to offer this because it's not really an appropriate offering. So it's kind of fun the way that it's tweaking my mind. I dig it.
Yeah. Oh, that's really fun. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
almost like I'm thinking about when I quit smoking. Um it's like I had to kind of use a little bit of those types of strategies where it's like, oh, but you know, if I do this, then that means that, right? You
Yeah.
know, like kind of
Yeah.
like tying things together. And so, yeah, that sounds like a really good way. It's like, oh, but then I have to be transparent, like with the Buddhas, and
Exactly,
you
exactly.
know,
Where I'm like, like if I'm like, okay, let's just imagine, because I just started practicing this. I haven't had much opportunity, but I had this thought process where I was like, oh, like I wanted some kind of like sugary sweet thing, right? I had like, and I was like, but I won't be able to if I suggest that I want to offer this to my guru, right? Let's just say, right? Then I can already hear like I don't want that.
or maybe offering one single delicious bite, like that bite that you took one
Yeah.
time of the
Yeah.
ice cream, right? Where you
Yeah.
just savor it. I bet you
Oh.
they would like that.
I bet they would like it. It done appropriately for sure. But anyway,
Yes.
it's kind of fun. And I just thought it was neat because that very morning I was driving in and I had all these thoughts about it. And then like
Yeah.
there Llama Zopa is with some good advice in a little pocketbook format.
That's awesome. Well, and everything is the path, right? And
Right.
so yeah, it
That's the
sounds like
point. That's actually the point. That's the point he makes. He's like
yeah,
everything, everything.
everything. Everything. Oh, I need to like just get that in there, right? Like I need to somehow kindly and compassionately drill it into my brain.
Yeah, well, even speaking of drilling things into your brain, what about like and everything being the path? How about the yoga of dreaming? How's that going?
Yeah, I mean it's really interesting. I need to send you some pictures of, did I tell you about this art show that I did recently? No, I didn't. Okay, so I've been part of this art group that's met every Monday night on Zoom, where the teacher will give us a prompt to work on over the week with our own mediums, so whatever we are interested in
Yeah.
using, and then we come back and share it on the next Monday. And so I did to close out the class. We did a show, and so showed some of the stuff that we've been working on, and one of my projects was to include all of the text from my dreams that I've been cataloging.
Mm,
Um,
mm,
and
hmm.
that was so interesting to like combine that with like the drawings that I did and really kind of weave things together. So that's a little bit of a tangent, but it's been on my mind. Yeah, so my dreamscape is really interesting and I feel like I visit similar places. So I really encourage people to start writing down your dreams. Like you'll because you lose it, right? It's
Yeah.
always lost. Like it will not come back.
Nope.
And
No.
so like to write it down, especially like if you wake up and it's 3 in the morning, don't go back to bed, just write it down. Um, and it's just really cool because there's definitely this city that I return to a lot. So
No.
you'll start to find like patterns and stuff. But it's really funny. I had a dream last night that like cracked me up, like in my sleep. Like I woke up because I was laughing.
Wow.
Um, and I had a dream that it was Llama's birthday.
Yeah.
Because I think earlier that night I've been thinking, can I get to 100,000 Tara mantras? I'm gonna aim for 100,000. I don't think I'm gonna get a hundred
Right.
thousand by
That's
June.
hard.
It's really hard. But so I was like thinking about it and like, oh, maybe I don't know. And so I think I was thinking about his birthday as I was falling asleep. And I had this dream, that it was his birthday. And we had like ordered him a cake, this like big sheet cake. Um, but the person who was doing the icing for the top of the cake, all that they wrote on it was Mr. Steven, like no happy birthday, no llama. And I don't know why in my dream I thought it was so funny. Like it just cracked me up. And then I woke up and was
That's
laughing.
awesome.
And so it's like there's these ways that like Dharma figures have been somewhat adjacent or visiting my dreams, but in ways that like like are not like that's weird, right? That's like kind of
Right.
just a silly little thing. So I feel like I can see like as one would gain a lot more mastery of this type of practice, that those instances would increase and they would likely be more auspicious, right? And
Right.
deeper. When I first started practicing and like with that beginner's mind where it was just like, oh wow, this is my path, like
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
feeling juicy about it. I had this wild dream, um, that I was standing on the banks of this massive river, um, in the mountains, and it was like gushing. It was like there's some kind of storm. And coming down the river is this canoe. And on the back of the canoe is the Dalai Lama. He's standing up. And he's guiding. Behind them are all of these canoes with refugees. Like
Yeah.
you just know, like in
Wow. That's
refugees.
cool.
And I woke up and was just like, wow, this is it, right? This is it. I've had nothing like that since then, but
Wow.
it was encouraging. It was inspiring, right?
I like what you said though, that that the Dharma figures, like we might, it'd be if we became more intimately familiar with our dreams and remembering them, then we might be able to actually. I remember one of our Dharma Center members, um, he was talking about not dream yoga, but about remembering dreams and stuff, and about how you can sort of like wake up in the dream, and then be aware, like, oh, look, there's this person, this spiritual figure, right? I'm going to talk to them and have like a Dharma discussion with them. You could learn something from it.
Yeah. That was
I don't know,
Dan,
man.
right?
The only time I ever got to hang out with the Dalai Lama in my dreams, we were grocery shopping.
That's right. I love that.
Yeah.
I think that's so sweet.
I think he'd like it. I think we didn't have a good time. I like grocery shopping. I think
Me too.
it was a pleasant experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
Grocery
it.
shopping with the Dalai Lama.
You
That'd
know
be a
what
good
though?
book.
I would be, but what's funny is that after last week's talk show, I was inspired. I was like, I'm going to note my dreams. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. And so then I think it was like that very night, I had this dream, and like I wake up from the dream, and I'm like, oh, I don't have anything to write it down on. And so I grab my phone, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna record it. No, no, that was in the dream.
Whoa.
Yeah, and so I couldn't get it to work, and then I'm like, what? And then I like fell asleep, in my dream. So I woke up and fell asleep in the dream trying to record my previous dream. It was like one of those Inception moments.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, I think so. Dan Martin was the person who
That's who,
did that
yeah.
talk, right? Yeah, and I feel like I remember him talking about ways that you can test, whether you're dreaming or not, right? And so kind of like trying to read a text, and if the
Yeah,
words change or if you can't go back,
that's
to
right.
read it,
Yeah.
it's all these like
That
interesting
that's what was
strategies.
happening with my dang phone was that I couldn't like it kept changing. I kept looking at it. And I'm like, how do I get in there? And then I
Yeah,
fell asleep.
like I know how to use my phone.
Right, right. That
Yeah,
if I'd been paying attention, I would have known, hey, you're in the dream still, you can wake up, right?
yeah, yeah.
But then what? I'd be playing with my phone in the dream? Nah.
All right. Well, hey, maybe a Dakini would have shown up,
That would have been cool.
you know? Yeah, taking you somewhere.
Yeah. How you doing otherwise?
I'm okay, actually. I feel, I don't know. Life is weird right now. It's hard to be here in America. Um, and it's sad and scary and
Yeah.
all the things. But I feel like I'm coping all right. Um, Yeah, and I met, I'm for those who don't know, I live up in Washington, and so it's been 5 years almost since I moved up here from Sacramento. Um, and I haven't had a sangha here. Like I haven't had a in-person sangha. And this Sunday I attended a sit and session with these two monastics.
Nice.
They're nuns who live in Port Townsend. They're in the Theravadan Thai forest tradition. And it was in their home. And there were maybe 5 or 6 other people. And we sat, did like a 40-minute meditation, and then talked afterwards. And it was so nice
Yeah.
to sit with people and to be in the presence of people who are practicing 24/7. That's really impactful.
Yeah.
Um, and something that I found funny, and maybe you can help me because I know that you sit with other people more often than I do. I became hyper fixated on all the sounds of my body,
Mhm.
particularly swallowing. I got
Yeah.
like
Yep.
really like kind of obsessive about it, where it's like, dude, just like chill, just let your body take care of it. But it was like,
Yeah.
but I need to, it's too loud, it's too loud. And so
Yeah.
then I noticed with the anxiety, like
Yeah.
this, it was cool, right? It would get like I would just
Oh yeah.
start salivating, right?
Yep.
And it was like,
Yep.
damn it. But it was such a good meditation because I was just like I was so like present. um and I almost it was very much like a, okay, this is one of those grueling ones, but I'm here for it.
You kind of get a
um
little sweaty in your armpits.
a little sweaty, yeah. Well, how do you deal with that?
I don't. I had the exact same thing happen at the meditation on Saturday
Yeah,
where I was sitting, I was like up front, right? And I was like swallow I kept having to swallow and quite loud. It was exactly what you described. And I did. It was I'm because it's happened. You're right. I've sat with people long enough, and I like a lot of times like sometimes like my stomach will be making noises or whatever.
yeah,
And at first, it's always that initial sort of like, oops, oh no, like I shouldn't be doing like like there's some kind of like tightness around it. And then
yeah,
I like quite quickly I'm like that doesn't make any sense, right? Like just relax. And the
yeah,
relaxing makes it all better, right? Like
yeah.
everything kind of just chills out. But what I did notice on Saturday was that I'd hear my own swallow, right? But then once I relaxed, I started hearing other people swallowing.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, right, that's just what we're just bodies here. It's okay.
It's about a body,
It's
yeah,
just bodies. They're just doing what they do. It's okay.
yeah.
you know?
Oh, thanks, buddy. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try real hard. And maybe I
Yeah.
just need to not try real hard next
Yeah,
time.
less trying, less
Less
trying. Right.
trying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, just note, oh, swallowing. Okay. All right.
And that's what's so, I think, interesting about practicing with the body, like mindfulness of body, is that when I start to realize how much is not within my control, how much I actually don't need to control, like the breathing for one.
Yeah.
Like when I have very active, like attention on the breath, it's not natural. But if I just allow the natural breath to happen, it's happening completely on its own.
Yeah.
Same thing with swallowing. I'll just do it like unconsciously, right? Um and so I think that's like this kind of gross level practice of seeing that like yes, there's something here, but like
Yeah.
there's nothing like actually within our control. There's nothing that is solid. There's
It's just the
um
aggregates.
it's just the aggregates.
They're
Yeah,
just doing what they do. They're just it's the dynamic
exactly.
display or the display of dynamic energy, right? Like that's just
Yeah. And
hey,
Lama's mentioned,
oh, go
oh,
ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I started reading for the Buddha Dharma study program the like Abhidharma texts, and it's dense. Um, but what Lama kind of explained to me was that like it's really about like showing how all of this exists. And what's really hard about that is that we're still coming to that from a perspective of an I. And so how to um, recognize what's here without reifying an I, and that's really
Wow.
hard. So like, how can action and karma still exist, right, and continue on in consciousness like without there being an I?
Yeah.
So I was
I
like,
love it. I love it.
it's
It's just like the people
hard.
it's like the have you ever tried to read people who try to write non-dualist literature? Like there are people who have tried to write
Uh-huh.
books like a story or whatever in this way without a subject object divide, and oh my God,
Well,
it's maddening trying to read it. You're just like,
I
what?
bet
Like,
that
you
that would
kind of
make no
need this.
sense.
I can't, my mind doesn't work like that.
Right.
I was gonna say though,
Interesting.
maybe with the body stuff during meditation, it would be kind of cool to take a little bit of a Mahayana approach there, because we recognize our tightness. Oh, you and I both now, we just shared that this is an experience that we've both had in meditation. How many
Right.
people are sitting there all tight?
Yeah.
Not like I can't make a noise. I can't, and then we can like be like, all right, let me do it. Let me make some noise here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you make some noise, and then now you just like relaxed everybody else because they know it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. Thank you. It's a little bit of like oh, may I take this,
That's right. Let me
may I
take this
take
hit. I'll do
this?
it. I'll be the swallow.
Yeah. I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Thanks, Daniel.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. My pleasure.
Should we do some Lojong? We got
Let's
to
do
train our
some
minds, right?
Lojong. All right, let me do it. Let me share my screen
Gosh,
here.
there's so many things in our lineage and in the Dharma in general that I want to be doing every single day. There's just so much. Lamrim, Lojong,
Yeah. Yeah.
Abhidharma, like uh the four measurables, like all of these are huge trainings. Anyways,
We
okay.
are like you and I, we're like ants, and we're at like the bottom of a sugar hill the size of Everest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does feel that way. We're gonna get to the top
Hmm,
eventually.
okay. Well, I'm just gonna enjoy the ride.
Okay, cool. Check this out. Number 11. When beings and the world are filled with evil.
Hmm.
Doesn't sound relevant now. Transform unfavorable circumstances into the path of enlightenment. Fantastic. So, um, Thupten Jinpa says, in short, when calamities, oh wait, no, sorry, Dhammarakshita. In short, when calamities befall me, it is the weapon of my own evil deeds turned upon me, like a smith killed by his own sword. From now on, I shall be heedful of my own sinful actions.
Oh my.
Yeah, Dharma
I was
Rakshita.
just reading that today.
Were you really?
I really was.
Oh, this is awesome. You're gonna have to tell us all about it. Let's see what Kenshin Rinpoche's got to say here. Sometimes it seems that the world is filled with negativity and that living beings have much suffering and many accidents befalling them. We must learn to transform these negative circumstances into the path to enlightenment. This can be done in two ways, through the practice of relying on relative bodhicitta and through the practice of relying on ultimate bodhicitta.
Mhm.
Hey,
Yay.
very good.
Yeah. Yeah. I love this. It's so so topical.
It's very topical.
I
And
it's a
yeah,
it's a common I was reading, I think it was so it was actually something I was reading in Trunkpa's work about what to do when basically it was a question what to do with it seems like there's all these troubles and I want to fix the world, and he was like that's sort of an egoic wish, this like you're going to like fix all those other people. He's like, first, you got to fix yourself. You got to work on yourself. Like just start there, right? Like
yeah,
if you just do that, it'll ripple out, it'll grow, right? But you have to start here. And we don't want to do that. It's so much more like talk about a subject object divide. Here I am. I'm trying to do things well. I'm trying to be a good person. I'm trying to and so are me and mine. We're all good people, but they over there, they're evil, they're bad, they're whatever, right? And I think that causes a tremendous amount of division. I think that if we were able uh well, bring everything to the Dharma and practice mind training on a regular basis, I think that we wouldn't have quite so much vexation at witnessing sort of the evils of the world.
yeah. Yeah, no, I'm sure of it. I mean, I know uh, our teacher is not happy with what's going on, but he's a happy person,
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
And so it's absolutely possible um, that we can still have joy.
Also, the one of the things that he pointed out when I was giving the talk on the four opponent powers was that like that this cultivation of this wisdom mind will it opens us up to solving problems in a way that we wouldn't otherwise be able to do. Like a lot of
Yeah.
times, and this is not these are not necessarily his words, right? But the idea is that, when we're fixed in our little mindset, right? There's me and there's them and they're good and I'm good and they're bad or whatever, that we tend to think in these kind of very limited ways. Well, I should blow up that thing or the, or whatever.
Hmm.
I should, do something drastic. Whereas if you are, not so locked down, you're more open, you might actually see clever solutions, different ways of helping and really making the solution, or not necessarily the solution, a solution to all the problems, but rather how you can be of benefit. And I think that that's the important part.
Mm. Yeah, I love that. And maybe it's like a little less sexy than kind of like going out and fighting everyone. And rather instead we're it's kind of that long vision, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I like it.
I mean, I'm
Thank
not
you.
opposed to fighters, Jack. I don't, I think there's
I think
sometimes,
that's necessary
yeah, there's times,
sometimes.
right? You just want to be
But
doing
yeah,
it skillfully.
but I think that's the thing is that I tend to romanticize that. And so I have to be really careful because I can get myself into trouble. I have, you know. And so I've got to be reflecting on that. But I do think, that there is a role um, with that intention, the wisdom mind. You know, who are these cool folks?
Four seated masters. We have no idea who they
Yeah,
are, but huh, Tibetan.
cool.
Hmm. Cool.
Very cool. All right.
All righty.
Thanks, Dirk. Thanks, Lojong.
Thanks,
Oh, my
Atisha.
friend. Thanks, Atisha. There we go. So we're talking about the Kleshas tonight.
Yeah,
You
how our
flip.
minds get hijacked.
how our minds get hijacked in so many ways.
Hmm.
In more ways than one, in more ways than three.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so let's get in there.
Let's do it.
So,
So, Klesha is what they are.
mm,
Uh, and you said it earlier, I think, right? Mental defilements. I like Trungpa a lot. He usually uses the term neuroses.
neuroses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
All the ways that our minds turn away from reality.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
AKA the three poisons. I think that within the older sort of Indian yoga systems, it's usually five kleshas, I think.
Five, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think three is enough. You know,
Hmm.
if we're working in base 10, the if you look at just three numbers actually can be combined in 1,000 different ways. And I think the kleshas are like that, right? Like just with these three kleshas, um, ignorance, attachment, avoidance, or aggression, whatever you want to call it. I think those three things combine in all kinds of amazing ways to create wildly different human beings
Hmm.
who
Absolutely.
react to similar stimuli quite differently.
Right. Well, and that kind of made me think about how they're not necessarily always so distinct, right? There's ways that they very much commingle.
Yeah.
Like obviously, like we can talk about how easy it is to be angry and fearful when we don't know the actual nature of something. It's
Yeah.
very easy to have aversion when we're ignorant um, to reality. Um, or yeah, maybe attachment towards something can really lead to a lot of aversion, right? When it's
Yeah.
threatened. So they're so very much interlinked.
Although, I think it's kind of interesting if we go, okay, so the yoga system, whatever, of India had five. Within our normal Buddhist discussions, we talk about the three poisons, but fundamentally, there's just the one. It's just the
Mm,
ignorance.
ignorance,
Right.
right?
Like that's what are they? Is it avidya? Avidya. Yeah. That's the ignorance, right? And that's the fundamental problem. We don't know the way things are.
Mm.
That's where
And
the
this is
Abhidharma and all of that comes in, right? Like you gotta learn somehow. You gotta gain some knowledge of how things really actually are, right? And there's multiple ways of doing that. One is by reading about it, studying about it from people who have been there and seen it and can tell you about it. And the others looking at it directly yourself, right?
yeah,
And really trying to use the tools like Lama was trying to give us on Saturday to look at it and be like, what is it? What's actually going on here? Who am I really?
yeah. Well, we have so much data, right, to be mining constantly
Yeah.
with our own experience to look at what's happening with the kleshas in our mind. Um, yeah, so should we talk a little bit more about each one of those? What do you
Yeah,
think?
yeah, yeah. How do we do it? Uh,
Right, let's
should we talk about them like individually, or should we talk about them in the context of like modern society or how they manifest?
all
Or
of the above. Yeah.
all
Let's just start out with attachment.
right.
Yeah.
Attachment. You know what I like doing? I've discovered that one of the things I really enjoy doing when I'm studying anything here is the different words that are used to describe the same thing. I find it
Yes.
really, really helpful because it just somehow like it gives me just a slightly different perspective on whatever that particular thing is. So,
Yes.
so I like with attachment. Trunkpa calls it passion, but it's also known as greed,
Right.
clinging, and sensuality. So I thought it was
Huh.
pretty, yeah,
Desire.
like desire, exactly.
Mhm.
Right, right. So that's the attachment part of it. And one of the things that I was so I'll probably talk a lot about Trungpa relate because
Sure.
one of the
Great.
things I thought was really, really, really cool is that so Trungpa, there's a book called The Myth of Freedom and the Way of Meditation.
Hmm.
And he has this chapter called Styles of Imprisonment.
Oh,
Okay. And
that's good.
no, it's really good. So what it does is it actually he shows the relationship between the skandhas that you and I were talking about last week, right? And how the relationship of the skandhas to the ego to these kleshas, right? And
Hmm.
so I think that's like it's super cool. And
Great.
one of the things that he talks about with attachment is that like that it arises from like a sense of poverty, right? Like it's this what do we call it
Yeah.
nowadays? Scarcity mindset.
Scarcity mindset. Yeah.
Right? Like this, because what he points out is that, when we feel rich or wealthy in a domain, there isn't actually that same clinging, that same greed. It's not there because we're satisfied,
Right.
full. And that this comes from like we don't have enough, right? Like we need more.
Hmm. Yeah. I definitely feel that. Um, there's this sense of discontentment with attachment,
Right?
um, and craving, where yeah, I never feel quite well satisfied enough or safe enough.
Right.
Um, I'm thinking about like within relationships, I often have this
Yep.
kind of feeling that like something's like the shoe's gonna drop or something, or
That's right.
and so yeah, there's all this kind of like clinging and like
Yeah.
checking how is this relationship, how is this friendship going?
Does it
Um,
also manifest within relationships as like, is it hard to let go of relationships even when they're not like they're hurting,
yeah,
not going well, you
definitely. Yeah.
still hold on?
Yeah, no, I had a relationship that went about yeah, 5 years longer than it should have
Yeah.
gone at one point.
Oh,
Because that it felt scarier um to let go.
right.
And yeah,
Yeah.
so clinging to a false sense of security, right?
In my own my life that I've had that experience as well, but the way that attachment, craving, clinging has shown up predominantly is really through sort of addictive behavior, right? It was
Totally.
alcohol, weed, that kind of stuff, right? Primarily where I just couldn't get enough. I just, it was oh, it was like obsessive, right?
Yeah,
Needing,
like got it. Like, okay, I've had 2 shots. Now I'm gonna get like a little
yeah,
bit a
just a
puff
little bit
on.
more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then like
yeah.
just yeah, everything
Yeah.
has to be constantly calibrated, and it's never.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah,
And even now, like I mentioned earlier, what Lama Zopa is trying to help me with, right? Is why in the world would I eat, right? Food. Why would I eat food if I don't need it, right? Like what
I
is that?
know.
Right? Well, because there's something's not like I need something. Something's not okay in the
Yeah,
present moment. The way things are right now, reality as it is not enough. It needs a little chocolate.
right, right. Yeah, isn't that so funny?
Right?
Yeah,
Right?
why would I do something when I don't need it?
Right.
Having
And
to alter. Yeah,
and the worst part, I think about it, if we use the term Klesha culture, which I think is actually a fantastic way of describing our modern Western society, we
yeah.
have this like attachment is like supercharged, right?
Mm,
Like you don't have enough. You need more and more stimulation, more consumer goods, more whatever, right? And there's always it's just like this loop of needing more, more, more. It's not
totally,
enough. You need something else, right? Like get on
totally.
Amazon because you got to buy something else, right?
Right. And the
Whatever.
way too that like well, social media is definitely like a intensified form, but the way that like also we have to in some ways be able to brand ourselves, like kind
Oh
of
yeah.
brand our identity, this kind of like
Yeah.
attachment to here's how I can present myself to the world. So I can be seen and liked and sell my labor and like all the things, right? And so that's really interesting too, is that it's like, sure, we on a ultimate level, like we can, we have no self, and it's really hard to recognize that. But then on this very like conditional level, there's this completely false self that we're presenting to the world that is not accurate. It's this very, social media, uh, curated version of
Mhm.
ourselves. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
rough.
it
Yeah.
is. It
And
is.
it's so addictive too. Like, obviously we know this, but people like constant scrolling and checking how many
That's right.
likes.
That's
Yeah,
exactly, yeah, that's it. It's never enough. It
never
can't
know.
be, right? So that's that attachment. That's what we're talking about with that. You know
Yeah.
what though? Talking about the peacock in the Poison Grove book, right?
Ah, yes.
By Dharma Rakshita. I talked about this previously on the show, and I really like it. It's this imagery, like that the peacock. I'll read a quote. Um,
Hmm.
so, just as peacocks thrive on the essence of poisonous plants, so bodhisattvas flourish in the jungle of worldly concern. Transforming afflictions into the path, they radiate the Dharma, right?
Hmm.
And that's and so that's the promise though, is that so it's easy to take from what you and I are talking about, that what we're saying, oh, attachment, aversion, ignorance, these are bad, these are negative. No, 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 no. No, in their pure, they're just more sort of display of dynamic energy, is just things that are
Yeah.
happening, right? And actually that's the thing, is that the like yes, they can be poisonous in a way if they're afflicting us, right? Like if we're not working with them skillfully, we're not bringing them to the path, that transforming them into the path, then yeah, they hurt, they cause suffering, they cause a lot of karma, right? All kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
But the work that we're doing here with all this mind training and all this stuff that we're doing, like you're talking about, all this stuff is that we can transmute it, right?
Yeah.
It can become our nourishment. And so the cool part is that what the teachers like Trungpa and others say is that attachment. So each one of these has its what it looks like when it's in a healthy, like what it looks like
Hmm.
when it's pure and healthy. And so attachment becomes compassion, right? So
Hmm.
we stop clinging to this like need for us and mine, and we begin to have compassion for others. We're thinking about other beings,
Yeah.
right? It's not about me, it's about them.
And generosity, I imagine too.
Generosity, hell yeah.
Yeah, kind of like in some ways doing the opposite. Like it becomes its inverse, um, where like attachment clinging becomes oh, outward, I care about others, I give to others. Yeah, it reminds me of this concept in dialectical behavior therapy, which actually I think is taken just straight from Zen Buddhism, right?
Yeah.
So it's the Dharma. But yeah, it's this idea called opposite action, where it's like, whatever the emotion is telling you to do the opposite. Right? So if it's like, um, let's see, like jealousy, like you're wanting to check your partner's phone or something, like,
Yeah.
oh my god, the opposite is to get rid of the investigator in your mind, and go do something completely for yourself, or
Yeah.
these kind of like
Yeah.
opposite things. So yeah, the opposite of clinging is to let go. um and I try to imagine how to do that, and without like, the extreme is like, okay, well, I'll just give everything away and like go live in the mountains, which we've talked about, that's like a desire or like a dream that we have, right?
Yeah.
But to imagine that, okay, none of this is really mine anyways. Like I can't possess any of this around me.
Wow.
It's not possible. It's just, it's here. uh I'm able to use it right now, right?
Yeah.
I can't own anything, not taking anything with me.
Buddhism made the rental economy hip before we did. You're just renting it. It's not none of
That's
it's
right.
yours.
You
Not
are, you're
even your
just renting
body.
it.
You're just
Yeah.
borrowing it.
Yep. Mm. And there's kind of like like an ease, right? Isn't there such an ease when it's like, oh yeah, I don't own any of this. I don't have to defend any of this.
Right. Well, defending,
Oh,
right? Defending it. You're talking about the next Glacier, right? Aggression,
yeah.
aversion,
Yes.
hatred, rejection. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
defending our territory.
Oh, I'm so over it.
Yeah.
I guess not enough though. Not enough yet.
What do you mean it's not enough?
Well, I would be enlightened, right, if I was fully over it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure, for sure. Yeah, without a doubt. I mean,
Uh,
but like if you think about it, this just like the rest of the cliches, like within our society, this stuff, especially with social media, right? I remember bumper sticker, if you're not outraged, you're not paying attention, right? Like
mhm.
there's all this polarization and everybody, these enemies all around you, and that's being stoked right now. Like nobody's, but we've got a bonfire of
Yeah.
aversion hatred just blazing right now in
It
America.
feels so bad.
It's intense, right?
Yeah,
We
it
don't,
is.
and that's, I mean, we'll talk about this in the next episode, right? Like for sure that this is a problem because we ourselves, we like you were saying about Llama, like he's not happy about what's happening, but he himself is happy, right? He's not himself giving in to this aggression, this hatred, right? No, right? We
Yeah.
recognize that that's what's happening. We see that samsaric. We see, yes, okay, right. But that doesn't have to be my mindset, right? I can still
Hmm.
love Donald Trump.
Yeah, yeah, trying,
Try.
trying.
Try. More Tonglen.
More Donglen. Yes. What about the kind of everyday aversions that pop up for you a lot?
Aversion, I'd say, is like a pretty prominent one for me.
Yeah.
I think it usually shows up like I'm really aversive to like emotions,
Really?
difficult conversations, real intimacy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like
Yeah.
it. I like to keep it's not that I like to keep things superficial. I like to go deep, but only in ways that are like comfortable, right? Uh
Yeah.
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 So and like
Okay.
I'm super like it may not I don't know if I come across this way, but I recognize when I look at my mind like I'm pretty judgy too, you know?
Yeah.
Like
Me
and I
too.
have this like I'm really easily irritated, you know? Like it, like just yeah, and all of that is this aggressive aversion. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
What about you? How
Thanks
do you
for
feel?
sharing that. Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. That's a vulnerable share.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, for me, I have a lot of irritability, um, a lot of kind of arrogance that then kind of spills out into like annoyance about other people's behavior
Yeah.
and not living up to a certain standard that I think I'm living up to. Um, Definitely I feel aversion when someone interrupts my routine or like what I would rather be doing with a request or even just like I don't know, wanting to talk.
I know.
Uh,
I was perfectly fine, and then you showed up.
yeah, exactly. I was having a good day.
Right.
Um, yeah, and so those I think those are the ones that come up the most.
Yeah.
Um, Definitely I noticed especially when I've been doing the four opponent powers, one that comes up for me a lot is divisive speech.
Hmm.
So I'll definitely like I'll get into conversations um where yeah, especially political conversations, I can get real heated and just like hateful.
Yeah.
Is not as bad as it used to be, but it's still there for sure.
Yep, I can imagine. Well, isn't that's kind of nice, right? Like we can reflect on this, like, hey, our glaciers are still here, right? But we're sort of we're in the middle of transmutation.
Yeah,
Like we're in the process. Like it has is the lead has not been converted totally to gold, but it's not the lead that we used to know.
Right. Yeah. I like it.
Like it's beginning to have a little bit of a shimmer, a shine to it.
Yeah. Fancy. Yeah. So what's the antidote to aversion then? What's the opposite action?
The opposite action to
Yeah.
aversion?
Or like
Oh.
you were saying that for attachments it's compassion.
Oh, oh,
Whereas
oh, right. Not like what is it when it gets transmuted?
transmuted,
Yeah, yeah.
yes.
What is it? What is pure what is whatever that klesha is, what is its pure nature? It's
Mm-hmm.
clarity.
Clarity.
Yeah, it is. It's that. So like anger has this like you'll notice that even if it's not pure good anger, right? You'll notice there's a strong clarity there,
Yeah,
right?
there is.
So when aversion turns into clarity, confusion has no place. It is like the bright, hot Sacramento sun, in the middle of
Uh,
summer. A cloud cannot be there. Like it's
yeah.
impossible. It's like that. It's like this powerful force, right? So like I was reading one of this might be going a little too far, but Trungpa he says that attachment is related to so attachment and compassion. That's the mother tantras. Aversion, anger, and this clarity are the father tantras, and
Yes.
then ignorance and what it gives rise to, the wisdom, is the union tantra.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the non-binary tantras.
It's also called that. It's also called.
Oh man, that's really cool.
I thought
So
that was kind of neat.
yeah, so okay, so then let's check out ignorance then. Yeah, the
Oh
you
my
said so the
God.
union of the two?
Well, not that the ignorance is the union of craving and aversion, but rather that it's the union of the two tantras.
The good qualities.
Right, but certainly
Yeah.
ignorance in the sense that it's the union, in the sense that it's the root for sure of the other two. Hell yeah, right?
Yeah.
And what I like, let me see if I can find my notes on this. Okay. Okay, here we go. Because this is
Mm,
related to what Trungpa said. I love this. Okay.
mm,
So he was talking about the skandhas and the relationship here, right?
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
and he says that ignorance is associated with the first skandha of form, right? And he says that's the birth of ego, right? And
Uh-huh.
so what happens, so I'll just read his quote instead of trying to explain.
Yeah.
So it says, um, the fear of the absence of self, of the egoless state, is a constant threat to us. Suppose it's
Yes.
true, what then? I'm afraid to look. We want to maintain some solidity, but the only material available with which to work is space, the absence of ego. So we try to solidify or freeze that experience of space. Ignorance in this case is not stupidity, but it is a kind of stubbornness. Suddenly, we are bewildered by the discovery of selflessness and do not want to accept it. We want to hold on to something.
Mm-hmm.
That's ignorance,
That's
right?
ignorance.
We have
So
lost
yeah.
sight of the clear, open, vast, luminous expanse, and we have dropped down into the subject object divide. There's me, there's you, and we
Yeah.
are going to continually build things to hold on to, and they keep falling apart because they're impermanent, right? And we just keep holding. We're like, no, this other thing, this thing, no, that thing, something permanent, anything.
Please, yeah.
Talk
Please
about
give me some
stubbornness,
ground.
right? Yeah.
Stubborn and also like fearful, it sounds like he's describing.
Yeah, yeah, you said
You
it's
know?
scary,
Like
right?
I don't want to lose this. This is what I know.
It's me. Right.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
me. I totally like I there's times where I see the I very strongly and I'm like, "Oh shit. Like if I were to die right now, I would be like there I would be so clinging.
Yeah.
Like I
Oh
would be
yeah.
like I like there would be no part of me that would want to leave.
You wouldn't be just like, oh yeah, the aggregates are dissolving into space, into emptiness from which they came. Okay.
Yeah. No, I'd be like, but everything that like I love and want to say bye to and all the
Yeah,
things and
yeah,
my
all the
body and
things.
yeah.
Yeah. This is why ignorance is the root. This is the beginning.
Yeah,
It's the formation of all of the rest of this shit.
for sure, for sure. Huh. That's I definitely had a couple light bulbs go off with that passage. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah,
That
it's
was
good
really
stuff.
interesting. Yeah.
I
Huh.
feel really powerfully. This is my biggest. So like if I had like if I had like a one of those like pie charts, of Klesha's, ignorance is like more than half. It's like three-quarters of it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So the way that it shows up for people, like when you think about the different ways that ignorance shows up, I check all the boxes.
Yeah. I hear you. Yeah. Yeah, and then kind of like the everyday ways of just kind of like I see here like living on autopilot,
Yeah,
like not reflecting on what I'm doing, just kind of like sometimes like it's getting better, especially now with the four opponent powers, where I kind of have to see it now. It's like I can't be ignorant to this. I can't just kind of like, sometimes like I'll do something where I'm like, I know that I'm fibbing, or like I know that I'm like kind of stealing from work right now, but
right.
it'll just be kind of like a little like soft thing in the back of my mind,
Yeah,
and it's like, oh,
yeah.
I can justify it, right? But then now it's like, damn it, I gotta like actually think about this. Like,
That's
do I want to
mind
do
training.
this?
That's mind training. That's mine.
Yeah,
That's
it
it, right? You're bringing
is.
it up. Yeah, that's the four opponent powers. You're bringing it up, and you're using your wisdom mind to look at it and examine. You're not ignoring it anymore, right? That's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. I'm still annoyed though.
That's so annoying. Sometimes it's funny.
Yeah, for sure. But
Yeah,
when I'm really like attached or craving and I'm looking at it, I don't want to say that like maybe I should, reflect and figure out if I really need this.
but that's
I
it.
just want it.
Yeah, isn't I love like that part right there. That's the rub, right? Like I noticed
Yeah.
that in this food offering thing, right? Where I'm like, I earlier today I was like fishing around for some kind of snack, and I
Yeah.
was like, "Hey, man, are you searching for something to offer to the gurus and buddhas? Is that what you're trying to do here?" And I was like, "No, that's not what I'm doing." I was
Uh-huh.
like, "Shut up, man! Like
Right.
like, leave me alone." And I was like, so badly wanted to just turn off the light for a minute.
Yeah.
You're like, let me go do with my little thing in the dark, but
Right.
couldn't. I'm like, damn it.
Oh, that's good. Okay. I'm so excited. I'm really
Yeah,
glad we talked about this tonight. It feels like I'm really enjoying going over these like kind of
me
foundational
too. It's fun.
things.
It's
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 really
it's
fun.
and it's important, right? Because like a lot of times, at least for me, I feel like a lot of times like I've jumped over all kinds of foundational
Totally.
stuff. Right.
Yeah,
And the problem is that I then think that I know things that are more, advanced topics. I think I know something about it, but those advanced topics are built on the foundation. And if I don't understand the foundation, how the hell am I supposed to understand what comes later?
totally. Yeah. Yeah, well, thank you for bringing up both of these topics. They're really helpful. I
Yeah.
appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you so much for talking about it with me. I'm
Yeah,
grateful. This is
I've
fun
had a
stuff.
lot of fun. And thanks everyone for listening. If you can make a donation, it's lionsroardharmacenter.org. We'd super appreciate it. Anything helps. And we'll see you next week. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.